This is Charles Haley. You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, hits to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks his hard tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, swings down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew. And guys, we are here, man. Make some noise for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Come on, come on. Y'all got to let me know if you can hear the round of applause. Even know that my sound effects are working and everything, okay? But listen, man, we are here. The 2025 season is upon us, man, and I am freaking excited, man. Let's go. Huh? Let's go, man. This is going to be a really, really good season for the 49ers, guys. I can feel it. I'm telling you guys right now. Now, listen, I got a really fun show for you guys today, or at least I think it's going to be fun. I don't know what Kyle and John said in this pressure. I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? I started to record this earlier, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go live with it. I took it down. I stopped. I got like 10 minutes into it, but I was like, never mind. I don't know what they're going to discuss in this presser, and I've been seeing this stuff online. I've been seeing it on X. I've seen it all over the place, but I don't know what they've said. All I know is that when everyone tried to watch this presser the first time originally, it was all cut out. Now, I also want to let you guys know that we had a show planned for you tonight. I was going to be live from my guys from 49ers Hive, but that show is going to be tomorrow, so it is postponed until tomorrow. This show right now is just going to be the breakdown of what the Jauan, Lynch, and Kyle Shanahan presser was from yesterday, not the one from today, okay? I know that they addressed the media after practice and all that. We'll get to all that later on, all right? But before we do, let's go ahead and get through some of these formalities. If it's your first time here on the YouTube page, you guys like and enjoy the show, please do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we are going live. Give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have Snapchat and X. Those handles are Nothing But 9 ERS. All right, that was Nothing But 9 ERS. Yes, we are certified over there, and you guys can make sure if you missed it, if you don't know what it is, it's in the little icon for today's episode, all right? Follow us on a couple of other pages. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, and those handles are Nothing But Niners. That is spelled all the way out. That is Nothing But Niners. And then don't be the last one there, man. These guys got a couple of shows already this week. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. Head on over to the Patreon page and get some of that good content over there. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. All right, you guys know who I am already. If you don't, I am Mike Andrews 83 on X. You guys know I am Mike, man. I'm here to have a good time. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. What's going on with you guys, man? I'm dropping bombs on you guys. Let's go. Can you guys hear the special effects out there in the chat? You guys got to let me know if you can hear the special effects. I want to make sure. All right. Shout out to everybody that's out there already. I see 4-9 Giants Warriors. That is a Bay Area fan right there. Daniel Sports is in the building. Ronnie is in the building. Theodore, don't bother me, man. Boach is in the building. Ali is in the building, man. Ronnie, oh, man, I love seeing all these people here. I'm so hyped, man. I'm so hyped. Okay. Listen, man, I got a lot of thoughts on how this team is going to be this year, man. I like this comment here. It's just got a feeling the defense is going to be nasty this season, and I hope that's true, right? Like, I'm with you, right? Like, I really, really hope that's true. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm not looking for the defense to carry this team this season. Not until the end. But to start this season off, it's got to come from the offense. That's my opinion. I'll get into that on another show at another time. All right, I promise you guys I will break all that down later on. Thoughts on the D-line? Listen, man, same thoughts I had following the draft. A ton of potential. absolutely a ton of potential, but we got to see what these guys turn out to be, okay? We got to see what they turn out to be. Ali, I couldn't have said it any better myself, man. Let's go. 2025 season is here. I got some new sound effects and everything. Chase, my man Chase, what's going on, big dog? Listen, I got some new sound effects and everything. I can't wait to break out during the season. It's going to be during the season. Like, I have them. I'm sitting here. They're queued up. And just know, man, like, no, I can't even do it. I can't do it. All right. Ronnie says, I'm worried about the wide receivers at the start of the season. Well, that's exactly why we got to depend on this offense to carry us, right? Like the offense, listen, you came back with the same offensive line minus one piece, all right? You came back with your same tight end. You added one piece. You got Juice back. You got Christian McCaffrey back. All right, like you have pieces that are here. You got Jauan Jennings, who showed up and was dancing today, right? He looked good out there on the field today, right? You have pieces and players that are here, and not for nothing, there's more new faces on special teams and more new faces on the defensive side of the ball than on the offense. The offense has got to start carrying us. They have to start out hot right away. And I'm not concerned. Big Callie's in the building. What's going on, big dog? I'm not concerned about the wide receivers. Someone's going to get opportunities. Every single year, forget every year, right? Like just go into a Niners game where the star wide receiver is out. Somebody cooks us, right? That's got to be us. We got to have that guy that cooks the opposing team if it's not going to be Pearsall or Jennings. Someone's got to cook, right? And it doesn't look good. Right, you start out, right, you see all this stuff from Jacob Cowing in the offseason, how he's looking, how he's working out. He's out with Brock Purdy. He's out with Ricky Pearsall. He's doing all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, day one, and he pulls a hamstring. Like, dude, like, what is happening? Like, I didn't want to hear that. That's not what we were hoping for. But here's the good news. Here's a positive spin on that. It happened now. We're a ways away. We're a ways away from the regular season being here, man. So I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm not mad about it. I know that he put in a ton of work in this offseason, and that's going to carry through. It's going to bode well for him. So I'm not worried about it yet. But my point is, some of these other wide receivers have to step up. It could be Watkins. It very well could be Watkins, right? The Niners just signed Equinemius St. Brown, right? He's signed. He's wearing number 7, the same number as Morstead, right? Like, so the punter and the wide receiver, they're both wearing number 7, okay? Well, we got to see what happens. The battle of the sevens, right? Let's see what happens. But I'm not worried about these guys, right? Some wide receiver will step up. There will be opportunity given, and someone's going to step up, and it could very well be Watkins. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But listen, that's not what we're here to discuss right now, guys. All right, let me go ahead and get to this. I want to change my background before I start. I am liking this red mixed in here, so I want to change it to that one. We're going to bring John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan to the stage. I'm going to go through this and break this down. And depending on how much time is left after this is over, maybe we'll even break down the presser from today. All right, if you guys want to hear from some of the players and all that stuff, maybe I'll do one of the players or something like that. But I do know that we heard from the head coach again after today's press conference. So let's go back to yesterday's, though, because this one was the one that I think is going to be a lot more fun to go over. You guys know that I like looking for body cues and things like that. I like listening for when they interrupt each other, when a question is asked, if they give an answer, and they have to kind of double back to it or interrupt the next question so they can make sure that they drive the next point home or the point that they missed home. You know, so we're gonna see what happens, man. But you know, we're gonna break it all down. I promise you guys, we're gonna have a lot of fun. All right, so let's just go ahead and go and get into this thing. All right, you guys make sure that you can hear it. Let me know if you can't. All right,
go ahead, please.
John, can you bring us up to date on the PUP and NFI guys? Which ones do you expect to be cleared to practice tomorrow? And specifically Ricky Pearsall, what's his situation?
Yeah, I think we put them on PUP, all these guys, for a reason. When they took their physicals, they weren't deemed to be ready on that specific day. In some instances, they'll come off relatively quickly. It's kind of a ramp-up situation where they've been away. We want to assess them. We want to get them off to the side and kind of build them up. Abundance of caution. And that also preserves the right, you know, in some cases with PUP, NFI to use that at the roster cut. But in some of these instances, we anticipate it being short term. Ricky would be one of those.
Is there a possibility he could practice tomorrow?
He likely won't. You'll see him out there off to the side likely.
Ricky had a bad hamstring in OTAs. I mean, not real bad.
Okay, already. Ricky had a bad hamstring in OTAs, and here's the first correction. Oh, I mean, not real bad, but that's cool though. So it sounds like that the people that were put on there, it was more precautionary. Great explanation there by John. They weren't healthy at the time, but it doesn't mean that there's going to be long-term setbacks or anything like that. So I did like hearing that, and we got to see Ricky out there today. We saw what we saw. We saw the clips floating around. I'm going to talk about some of those clips later on, maybe afterwards. But let's see what they led us to believe for what was supposed to happen today versus what actually did.
See him out there off to the side, likely.
Ricky had a bad hamstring in OTAs. I mean, not real bad, a normal one. He's good now. He's hit all his miles per hour. He's fine. We just haven't seen him the last 2 weeks. We're not going to throw a wide out there the first 3 days. We don't want to pull it again until we see his conditioning and everything, which we should get in 3 days, and then he should be good.
Already, I got to stop. I saw this thing that Ricky Pearsall hit his fastest miles per hour since being a Niner, and that's not what Kyle just said, unless he goes into it later on. But that's already misleading. I wish I could remember whose post that was that said that, but I didn't see anything in what Kyle just said. He's been hitting all of his miles per hour. So they ramp him up slowly, right? We need to see you hit 10. Okay, we need to see you hit 12. Or we need to see you hit 14, right? Like, that's pushing it. If those are the goals to say that you're healthy enough to go ahead and participate in practice. That's not the same thing as what I saw earlier on. Now, maybe I'm missing something, but that ain't it. That ain't it. And let me just stop really quick, right? Let me just stop really quick. I see the comment here, right? Kyle looks tanned up, right? Cabo tan, right? Like, listen, man. Kyle went out and took a break. Let me tell you guys what that tan tells me. No mustache, fresh shave, fresh lineup, right? Look at my coach, right? This dude had a chance to relax. He wasn't stressing about the defense, wasn't stressing about the special teams unit. He wasn't stressing about how his offense is going to look. Kyle got a chance to freaking relax, and he is going to be the reason we have a good season this year. His offensive scheme for the first 6 or 7 games is going to be key. I'm telling you guys right now, that is the look of a guy who is calm. He looks younger here. I know I see the grays. I see the grays, guys. We're not going to do – unless he starts dyeing his hair, but we're not going to see a difference in the grays. I'm not mad at that, right? I'm not mad at those grays at all. I actually like those grays. It's kind of swag. Like, I like that. But this guy is calm. He looks younger in the face. Maybe it's because of the mustache being gone. I don't know. But I like this version of Kyle so far. You see the low-cut nails and everything over there, right? Like, this is a good look. And John Lynch even has a little bit of a tan over there. The arms a little bit more than the face, so that means he was somewhere with a hat on. John Lynch might have been on the golf course or something, and rocking the hat to keep the sun out of his eyes, But Kyle, wherever he was probably butt-ass naked somewhere. Kyle was out chilling, y'all. I mean, look at the tan on the arms. His face has more color than his arms do. Just saying, man. Just something to take note of.
Let's go. Like a grade 2. Things stand with Jauan Jennings, and what is kind of the plan to work things out?
Jauan's reported took his physical yesterday. We anticipate, I won't speak for Jauan, but had a good visit with him. Anticipate him being out there. You guys know our feelings on JJ. He embodies what we think a Niner's all about. Plays the right way. We love him, and I think all that stuff, we're not going to get into the contract talks and all that. That takes care of itself. But, we love him, and he's here.
So is there dialogue about a contract extension? Is that?
We love him. He's here.
Gone through, obviously, what we all know went on last season, last training camp. Is there some disappointment that there is at least public discussion about this? Is there some ultra motivation to make sure it doesn't happen like it happened last year?
No, it's kind of a sign of the times. It's just, it happens. And I think every team has.
What was the question here?
Ultra motivation is at least last season, gone through, obviously, what we all know went on last season, last training camp. Is there some disappointment that there is?
Why can't these guys just ask a question and say what they mean? Are you talking about like the Brandon Aiyuk contract stuff? Like, why do we have to decode what the question is? The question should be direct, and then let them do the coding with the answer. Like, we all know what happened last training camp. A ton of shit happened last training camp. What exactly are you asking?
He's here.
Gone through obviously what we all know went on last season, last training camp. Is there some disappointment that there is at least public discussion about this? Is there some ultra motivation to make sure it doesn't happen like it happened last year?
No, then it's kind of a sign of the times. It's just it happens, and I think every team has this. We're probably.
And this, John Lynch, man, you are my freaking guy, man. I have been telling the faithful for the last year and a half that this whole comment about, I would like a new contract, I would potentially seek a trade, removing the team out of the all that stuff is how negotiations are done now. This isn't a personal attack on the team. They don't hate being a 49er. None of that stuff is true, guys. It's all just negotiation tactics. Like John just said, it's a sign of the times, and every team goes through this. This is normal now, right? People are like, oh, I wish these players would just shut up. It's all us old farts, old fogey-ass people in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s watching, and we're the ones getting pissed off about these guys doing it. The truth of the matter is there was no social media 20 years ago. There was no social media 20 years ago. So, of course, you didn't get to see any of it, right? The closest thing you guys got to see was Terrell Owens working out in his parking lot, right? Like in his driveway. That was, oh, man, that was this version of that. That's what it was, right? It was the closest we could get because he alerted the press to where he was going to be so they can go and watch. That was as close to social media as they had. All of this shit is exactly the same. This is all the same stuff. Now, were they demanding trades and all that stuff? No, because it wasn't going to get public, even if they did. Even if they did, it wasn't going to become public. So this is just a new way of negotiating. We got to stop hating the players when they do it. They all don't mean it. We saw Myles Garrett write a goodbye to Cleveland post. He wrote a goodbye to Cleveland post. Guess where his ass is? Guess where he showed up? Bright and early. Big-ass paycheck in hand, right? Brandon Aiyuk. Hell, even Deebo Samuel. You guys know I hated Deebo Samuel's negotiations, but it was for different reasons, right? All of those guys were here that same season and going forward. They all got their deals. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Now, that's not to say that I think Jauan Jennings is going to get an extension. That's not to say that he's going to get the money he's looking for or anything. I'm not saying that at all. It's not always going to work out, but everybody does their own negotiating behind the scenes. They do it through their agents back in the day. Now they got a little bit of social media. They can try to get the public on their side. That's all this is, man. We got to stop taking it so personal. All right, let's get back to it.
It's kind of a sign of the times. It's just it happens, and I think every team has this. We're probably hyper focused on our team, and like I said, I told you what we feel about Jauan. He's an integral part of this team and a guy we'd like to have around here for a long time.
For wide receiver questions, what's the latest sense of Brandon Aiyuk and when he could resume practicing, and any more information on Demarcus Robinson and whether he'll be suspended to begin the season?
Yeah, that's a league matter as with respect to Demarcus.
Shout out to Matt for the phenomenal question here, man. You got to go and get right to it. This is a direct question. This is a direct question. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to hear. That's it. What's the latest sense of Brandon Aiyuk? And do you know if Demarcus Robinson is going to be suspended? Very direct, straight to the point. None of this, oh, well, we know what happened last training camp or season or year or stop with the nerves. You guys are there to do a job. Do the job so these guys can answer the questions to the best of their ability.
And when he could resume practicing, and any more information on Demarcus Robinson and whether he'll be suspended to begin the season?
Yeah, that's a league matter as with respect to Demarcus, and we'll let that play out. The league will handle that. We knew there was a possibility when we signed Demarcus and have accounted for that. So we'll see. That's a legal matter that is playing out. With respect to BA, He did a lot to his knee, and I would tell you that he's in really good place considering all that. Now, what does that mean in terms of a timeline and all that? We're continuing to assess and get information. He did a lot of his rehab away from here, and so, I think when you get these guys back, there's all kinds of objective measurements that you want to do. And so he'll be working on his rehab and with our guys, and I think we're encouraged on where he's at, but not anywhere close to having a set in stone timeline.
I'm going to rewind this for a personal reason. All right. I want to see Kyle Shanahan's reaction to when John Lynch says he did his rehab away from the facility. I want to see if Kyle shows anything. He's already sitting back. He was leaning up earlier. He had his hand around the cup. He had his other arm up. You can see his watch. He's leaning back already with these wide receiver questions.
Rehab away from here, and so, I think when you get these guys back, there's all kinds of objective measurements that you want to do. And
He's
so
thinking.
he'll be working on his rehab and with our guys, and I think we're encouraged on where he's at, but not anywhere close to having a set in stone timeline.
When it came to
There was something there. Kyle didn't want John to say too much. Look at him get a little antsy right towards the end of the question. He looks towards John a little bit. John doesn't see it, but he looks at John, and then he kind of leans towards him a little bit, all right, he was almost ready to cut him off.
So
He was
he'll be working
going to say too much
on his rehab and with our guys, and I think we're encouraged on where he's at,
Look at John.
but not anywhere close to having a set in
Okay,
stone
he's not going
timeline.
to go there.
when it came
These
to
boys are ready.
how the offseason went, obviously you guys are very familiar with the business side of this. Did you kind of see this coming down the pipeline with Jauan, given the injuries in the offseason and the moves in the offseason, that he would possibly want to kind of ask for a new contract?
Another good question, right? This team was well aware, just like we were, of the wide receiver discrepancy or turnaround or turnover at the wide receiver position. No Debo. No Aiyuk to start the season. Potential suspension for Robinson, right? So now we got a rookie. We got Pearsall. We got Cowing. And so it's you guys had to see this coming, right? I think this is a really, really good question. I'm going to drop a bomb on that question. I like this question. Very, very good. Again, a direct question. Did you guys see this coming? You guys had to know this was coming, right? What's up?
Yeah, I think you anticipate all situations that make sense when a player's in a situation. I see the same thing with Colton McKivitz. Those are two guys to me in very similar situations that I think the way they feel about us is the same way we feel about them. That's the easy part. The hard part's the business side. When people talk about how to avoid drama and stuff and things like that, and I'm trying not to say negative about it, I think that's just business. I don't call that drama, I call that business. If you want to avoid all drama, then just be really extremely bad at business and just be ridiculous on everything, and I guess there'd be no drama.
I like Kyle, man. This guy is good. And so I saw this tweet from Grant Cohn, and it was saying something along the lines of McKivitz should hold out. He's a starter, getting paid backup money and blah, 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 blah. He's a starting tackle, he's getting paid backup guard money. He should hold out and all that. And that didn't come out of thin air. Kyle set the stage for that tweet. Kyle put McKivitz in the spotlight saying he should be doing the same thing. So I did see the tweet by Grant Cohn. I think I saw that today. I haven't been on social media as much as far as scrolling and reading, but that did come across my timeline, or someone sent it to me. I forget exactly how I saw it. But the point is, Kyle laid the groundwork for that to come up. So people are like, oh, look at Grant stirring the pot. He's not stirring the pot. He's saying what Kyle said. It's someone who paid attention to the presser.
Tear your team apart doing that. So, you look into all that stuff, but, we got a great relationship with these guys. There's two guys that does make sense. We do everything we can to make that work out, but it's not always easy to make it work out. So we'll see how that goes.
Also, receivers, you trying out some receivers. I know you must be trying out various positions, but saw that it come across. Do you feel a little light just given?
Anytime we don't have 12 receivers for any NFL camp that I've been in 21 years, I feel light. And so we have 12. That's a hard thing with PUP because when guys on PUP, it counts on your 90. So even though we have 12 receivers in our building, with BA not being able to go throughout training camp, it means you only have 11. With Ricky not on the, with him on PUP for at least the first 3 practices, it means we only have 10, which you can get by with 10 until one guy has a sore hamstring the next day, and then you go with 9. And when you have 9 in a practice,
He predicted the future, and this is what I wanted to see. Until a guy gets a sore hamstring in the first practice, guess who that was? You guys guessed it. You guys guessed it, right? Like Kyle laid the groundwork. This is what I'm talking about. This is great. He told us everything that was going to happen. You're going to start with 10. Then all of a sudden, you're going to have a guy that pulls a hamstring, and now you're down to 9. And then what happens after 9, Kyle? Let me rewind it a little bit.
Until one guy has a sore hamstring the next day, and then you go with 9.
The next day.
In practice, one of those guys going to get hurt because you're having to overload a guy because you're now 3 less than 12. And if you do that for a few days, it's tough.
So what Kyle is basically saying is we're going to overwork the 9 receivers that we have tomorrow in practice, and someone else is going to get tight also. And so what do we do then, Kyle?
That's the hard thing with PUP guys. Even though it looks like your numbers are there, they're not. So we felt we had to get a guy for the numbers, or eventually you lose one guy, that's going to lead to 2 more. So that's really the thought behind all that.
And that's why they signed Equanimous St. Brown and had the wide receivers come in for the workouts. This team is ready. They are prepared. And more importantly, they're calm. Look at both these guys with their arms crossed right now. They look very relaxed. Nothing is catching them off guard. They are prepared for this moment. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about.
We have that with every position, really.
And to help you guys all out, it just happened. Help me out with the name. Equanimous, right? Equanimous St. Brown. We'll have signed him, so he'll be joining us off that workout yesterday.
Kyle, what tone do you want to set on day 1 of training camp this year?
I want it as simple as can be. Like, my goal with everything is to be the best we can possibly be. And that means nothing except for each individual becoming the best they can be. And all that has to do with putting in work and getting better each day. Like, we're finally at a camp. I think these guys have put the work in throughout the off season, where they've been with us or away. And they've given themselves a chance to come in here and really grind. And we're going to do that here for the next 5 weeks before we settle this team. I think we have as much position spots open. The final 53, the practice squad we've had since probably 2018. And I really want everyone to come in and focus strictly on that. Be the best you can be, work every day, and we'll see what that adds to make our team collectively. But if I could simplify me rambling better, it's time to go to work.
And John, what mindset does the team need to carry into this year starting today?
Well, Brianna, being around this league for a long time, each year is a new year, and you earn everything you get. And, there's some excitement and newness every year in this league with this team. There's a lot of young, new players who we've added. And with that comes some unknown, but it's also exciting. And so, but what I would say is we have a tremendous core of players, and they got to decide what they want this team to be. And a lot of things have to fall in place. But I do know that, what happened last year, and there's a lot of reasons, fell short of our standard. And our guys understand that extremely well. And I think they're very motivated, like Kyle said, to do everything and be very intentional. And it's one thing I love about Kyle and the way he organizes practices. It's all with one intent, to have the team as ready as they can be. And with that, at times, takes some risk. We're not going to go through a training camp 100% healthy. We understand that. We try to do everything we can to account for that and put our players in the best situation, but you have to work. You have to callous up. And I think it's about that work, and it's really exciting. I watched, I think we all sat back and watched Scotty Scheffler.
I'm going to pause this. I love what John Lynch said here. I'm going to drop a bomb on that too. Let's go, John. Brianna asked, what is the tone that you want set from this training camp? All right. And he talks. He says, we have a core of players here, and they have to set that tone. That was genius. that was absolutely genius, right? And so what you guys now have to do is step back and look at the core of this team. Who are the core players of this team? I'm going to start with an unpopular name because he almost wasn't a part of this team, and that's Kyle Juszczyk. Then you got Christian McCaffrey. You have Trent Brown. You have Fred Warner. You have Diamador Lenore. You got George Kittle. What do those guys show? What do those guys bring to the table? And the truth is, they all bring one attitude. We got to go out there and get it. They are going to set the tone. We can sit up here. I'm talking about we now. I'm speaking like John and Kyle, right? We can sit up here and tell you guys we want us to be physical, or we want us to be, we want us to be fast. We want us to be angry. We want us to be. None of that matters. What they're saying. The core of the team is going to set the tone. You have leaders in every single room in every position group. Now, you don't have that standout leader in the wide receiving room, or do you? Jauan Jennings, John Lynch said it earlier, Jauan Jennings represents the style and brand of 49ers football that we want. We want dependable. We want physical. We want blockers. Even if it's not your assignment, you have to run every route as if the ball is coming to you. And if it's not coming to you, we want 100% commitment and block. You got leaders at the core of this team at every single position group. They're going to set the tone. And when they come out there and they set those tones, when they do it, it's going to trickle down to the people who are on the bubble. If this guy, Fred Warner, is working this hard, imagine what that means for a guy like D. Winters. You know what I'm saying? If Jauan Jennings, a guy who was in contract negotiations, shows up and he was energetic as funk today. I didn't curse. That was an N, F-U-N-K, right? He was energetic as funk today. Just from a couple of clips that I saw Bosa out there. Bosa has absolutely, from what I've seen, no rhythm at all. And he was bouncing to the music, and he was chest bumping with some of the defensive linemen, right? I saw the little clip of Bosa and all the defensive rookies out there, right? He's right there toe-to-toe with these guys. Him and Huff out there, right? Like, these guys were that's the core of the team setting the tone. That's the important part of what John was trying to say. Let me see if I can go back to where it was because he talks a lot. Let me see. Where is the core? Here we go. Let's see.
Things have to fall in place, but I do know that, you know, what happened last year, and there's a lot of things have some unknown, but it's also exciting. And so, and newness every year in this league with this team. There's a lot of young, new players who we've added. And with that comes some unknown, but it's also exciting. And so, but what I would say is we have a tremendous core of players, and they got to decide what they want this team to be. And a lot of things have to fall in place. But I do know that, you know, what happened last year, and there's a lot of reasons, fell short of our standard. And our guys understand that extremely well. And I think they're very motivated, like Kyle said, to do everything and be very intentional. And it's one thing I love about Kyle and the way he organizes practices. It's all with one intent, to have the team as ready as they can be. And with that, at times, takes some risk. We're not going to go through a training camp 100% healthy. We understand that. We try to do everything we can to account for that and put our players in the best situation, but you have to work. You have to callous up. And I think it's about that work, and it's really exciting. I watched, I think we all sat back and watched Scotty Scheffler, you know, win the Open, and you know, he's starting to talk a little more in terms of what his preparation and things. And the thing he said, and I think it translates to any sport, is how everything he does during the week in preparations is extremely intentional to try to set him up to do one thing, give himself the best chance to win. And that's the same thing we try to do, and how we put our roster together, how they organize practices, and that's what this whole thing's all about. So I would just say the tone is you got to go earn it, and I know we have some very motivated players to do just that.
Why is he an NFI? Organize the practices.
So the question, well, real quick, and then we'll come to it. Yeah, he hurt himself working out away from here. You know, he's one of those guys. Not going to put a time limit, but relatively soon should be coming back. Barsh.
How does he stack up as far as, Kyle, when you look at that left guard position? Has he kind of put himself at the top based off the offseason program?
No, but he's right there competing with guys. You know, him and Zakel. We all know Burford can do that. He's done it before. We're starting him out, working to try to get that swing tackle spot. But we also know he can hop right in and guard and play because he started there for us in our 23 season with Feliciano. You know, we had Barch and Zakel competing through OTAs, but like I'll say, in the year since 2008, probably 19, what is OTAs when it comes to no alignment and stuff? You know, we got to actually go out there and do more football. So, but he's in the competition. He's in the mix.
Map out what the workload plan is for McCaffrey and Trent Williams specifically.
Before we get to that answer, so the question was, has Barch put himself at the top of the position for the left guard? Kyle was like, no, right? You're not going to earn a starting role before pads come on. Absolutely not. I love how quickly he dismissed that answer. And I know I shouldn't harp on that, right? But no, absolutely not. What the hell how can you earn a position anywhere if you're not doing it in real life? Like, I don't care what it is, but specifically with football, you want me to tell you who the left starting guard is going to be, and they haven't even put on pads? Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. And yes, Barch is hurt. He got hurt away from the team. But no, he's not the starting left guard. Listen to this.
Has he?
The time limit, but relatively soon should be coming back. Barch.
How does he stack up as far as, Kyle, when you look at that left guard position? Has he kind of put himself at the top based off the offseason program?
No, he's right there competing with guys. You know, him and Zakel. We all know Burford can do that. He's done it before. We're starting him out, working to try to get that swing tackle spot. But we also know he can hop right in and guard and play because he started there for us in our 23 season with Feliciano. You know, we had Barch and Zakel competing through OTAs, but like I'll say, in the year since 2008, probably 19, what is OTAs when it comes to no alignment and stuff? You know, we got to actually go out there and do more football. So, but he's in the competition. He's in the mix.
Map out what the workload plan is for McCaffrey and Trent Williams specifically.
I mean, it's all on paper somewhere. It's too confusing for me to memorize, or I'll forget things that can't just read on paper. But
you have to take into account to try to get these guys through camp healthy.
Oh, definitely. Which we always do. You know, last year neither of them did camp, and that didn't help them go through the season either. So I'm glad that they're both here and healthy, and they get a chance to go back to have a chance to build their bodies where they have a chance to get through the season like they have in the past.
Seen from last year's draft class as far as taking that year two jump?
I think that's one of the most important things. I mean, I think the most obvious thing is how many rookies we're going to be dependent on this year, especially when you look at the defensive side. We hope we are. But that goes hand in hand with the second-year guys. Guys that came in here and did a hell of a job in their first year. Guys like Renardo, guys like Ricky, Garindo. You got Mustafa, who will be back sometime during the season. But it's huge for those guys to take a second step. I mean, you talk about the sophomore slump a lot, and we're not in a position that we can afford that. So we're dependent on those guys to not have a sophomore slump. And, I mean, I see it the same in some third-year players who haven't. I mean, guys like D. Winters and stuff. He got some playing time a little bit more last year, and he can't take a step back. We need all these guys to take a step forward. And talk about second-year players. I have the same for the rookies, but I'll go to our vets also. Like, our vets need to take a step forward. Anybody here, I mean, it's the cliche thing, but you're getting better or worse. You're not staying the same, and I want to make sure I'm getting better. I want to make sure every player on our team's getting better.
Phenomenal answer by Kyle Shanahan. I just saw a Martin Lawrence comment in there. 916, he says Kyle Shanahan has ears like Martin Lawrence. And they do seem to be protruding a little bit more now, right? Like it's I love it, man. I love the comment there. But listen, man, look, Kyle made it very clear, right? You heard about the sophomore slump before, right? We're not in position where we can depend on that, right? We can't have anybody taking a slump or a step back. So I like that. This is all stuff that I've been telling you guys. The Niners are in a position right now where they can surprise a lot of people. We're always going to get every team's best, right? No one's going into any game in the NFL and half-assing it, right? And there's a lot of coaches that make money because they beat the 49ers. There's a lot of players that get extensions because they have good games against the Niners, because the Niners have been a premier team for the last 5 or 6 years, right? Like we're one of those teams that is, if we're healthy, we're in the postseason, and we're deep in the postseason. We're NFC Championship, right, or more. And so there's teams out there, there's players, there's coaches. They're going to be like, hey, that's the Niners. Like, don't sleep on them. And so what Kyle's mindset is going into this is that, yeah, those second-year guys, they're going to have to take a step forward. Yeah, we got a lot of rookies that we're depending on this year, but those second-year guys got to step up too. And so this is going to be very, very, very crucial. I like it, man. It's going to be a mix of a lot of youth that's going to have to take a step forward, man. We're going to be relying on 22, 23, and 24-year-old guys to make or break this team. And there's no doubt about it. Kyle even talked about the vets, right? You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no staying the same. If you stay the same, you have to assume that other people around the league got better and are more prepared for you. So essentially, you got worse. That's just the way it is, man. That's the way it is. That's the grain of rice tipping the scale. That's what that is. And so I loved how Kyle Shanahan answered that question, man. Let's go.
Shout out to Corey Rush for anticipating the sophomore slump questions. Good work, Corey.
Up on that, especially with the rookies on the defensive side of the ball that you'll be relying a lot on. Realistic expectations for the defense starting out the year. Obviously, you want.
It's a trick question. Don't answer it. Don't answer the question. Don't try to put too much pressure on these rookies. All right, we just got to see who rises to the top. We got to see how these guys play. We got to see how they turn out. I'm not going to put any expectations on anybody. I hope and expectations are two different things. I hope they're all pros. I hope that they were all Pro Bowlers and all pros and Super Bowl champions at the end of the season. But expectations, come on now.
Realistic expectations for the defense starting out the year. Obviously, you want them to produce and play well. You've seen Robert Saleh have an effect on them already in the offseason. But when you guys kind of huddle, what do you think are the realistic expectations for the defense early on in the season?
Yeah, well, one, I think we got a lot of good vets, who have established themselves in their league. I mean, I can go over numbers, but there's not many people in this league better than Fred and better than Nick. Love what Demo's done here these last few years and the vet he's become. But yeah, there's a chance we could have 6 rookies or 6 new guys starting. There's a chance we could have 8. We'll see how it plays out. And anytime you say that, that's different. That is a different team. That is a different side of the ball. And so that does take some time. That's why I'm so excited to get started with camp so we can start working that. That we got a really good head start in OTAs. When you have a young defense like that, you think of 6 out of our first 9 games are on the road. I know that'll be a huge challenge for them. But I think we have the capability with some of the veterans that we've had here, some of the new guys that we've added, some of these vets we've brought in to create some competition with these new guys, that as long as we keep getting better throughout the year, I think we have a chance to turn it into a real good defense.
Do you expect
Jauan to be out there? So just to clarify, you're not expecting a hold-in situation? And then if I could ask a second question, has he formally requested a trade?
I saw the same tweets you guys saw, but I'll just stick to what I said. Jauan's here. We expect him to be out on the field.
Yeah. So he hasn't formally asked for a trade. Yeah.
Look at that bullski. By the way, the tweet that I saw, let me rephrase it. The post that I saw on X didn't say that he has officially requested a trade. It said he would like a new contract or a contract extension, or potentially be traded if he's not going to get it. It wasn't, I want to be traded. Trade me. That's what I saw. I never heard an official, Jauan Jennings is requested to be traded. So it was all speculation, a little bit of projection, some anticipation of what may come down the line. But they're expecting him to be out there, and they expected him to work.
No. Your understanding of Demo's legal situation right now?
That something occurred down there. We've talked with Demo. Of course, we would prefer our players not get involved in those things, but I think that, again, that's a legal matter. Will work itself out. And we got a lot of faith in Demo, who he is as a person, what he stands for. Go ahead, Jennifer.
It was actually about that one, but last couple off seasons, you've had players send you pictures about how their progress has been? Has anyone been extremely interactive with you about what they've been doing during the offseason?
Not really. I mean, the one in the past I got a lot is because I was on him a little bit before he left. I just saw a real cool video that Trent sent to our strength coach today. So, but he didn't send it to me, but it was neat. He can still vertical jump more than any man I've ever seen his size. So that was cool to watch. But I'm more excited to see the videos of them with some pads on playing football.
Is it 3 practices without pads and then?
We have to do 4. Yeah, that's the rule.
3 one day off, a 4th. That's the acclimation period, and then we roll.
Or injury ones, Yetur and Dillard. Are those 2 of the guys in the boat that you expect a little bit sooner?
I think it's similar to Ricky, that because they've been away, we could put them out there right now with how they check, but we're going to be safe, evaluate them for these 3 days with them, with Dustin, both of our Dustins. We'll have a day off, and then we'll decide if we want to put them in the next block.
Malik posted a picture today. It looked like he's walking out with some pads on. Is his recovery going maybe faster than you would expect?
His recovery and how he is as good as it could be. Like, just the way he works, the way everything checks, it's amazing. But it's still an ACL, so you still got to give it the time.
And I think, to add to that, it's a revision. It's one he had previously hurt. And so I think with that, the time element, I think Malik is going to outperform every time because he's a special athlete, and then he's a special human being who's going to do everything and more. But there is, I think, especially with the revision, just a time element that doctors want to see you get to that puts some, he wants to be out there today, believes that he could be, but we have to kind of hold him back.
It's hard to always give you guys timetables because timetables change all the time. And then Branch will hold me accountable 6 months later. But when you look into all 3 of our ACL guys, whether it's Rourke, Mustafa, and BA, they're all kind of in the same boat of the time to come back, which isn't going to be training camp. I mean, it could be, but that would be very surprising. All right, but it'd be sometime in the season, hopefully the first half. And that's what we're hoping. And they're all 3 kind of in that same area, even though they all did it at different times, have different situations, but they're all about the same health time.
Tracy, you?
Somebody's cell phone is vibrating like crazy on the table with the microphones on it. But it's a different. All right. Anyway, I like hearing that about Malik Mustafa, right? It's a re-aggravated ACL, and he's a special person. That was really, really high praise from John Lynch, someone who has dealt with personal injuries and, putting together a roster and dealing with all those injuries and how they are, to call him a special athlete and a special person. That is high praise coming from John Lynch in particular, right? This is a guy who's been in the trenches and done it and had to work out there and all. That's very, very high praise. Oh man, Malik Mustafa is going to be special. He is going to be special. We just got to give him some time. I hope they don't rush him back. But then Kyle doubled up on it, talking about how special this young man is, saying that he believes he could be out there today. But that's not what the doctors say. It's not that the doctor's saying that he can't. There's steps to achieve. I talked about it earlier with the whole Ricky Pearsall thing, right? We're going to set the speed test for you. We don't want you going all the way. Just hit this goal right here. The same thing is going to go for a guy like Malik Mustafa. So, and he said the same thing about all 3 of the ACL guys, including BA. They're all doing well in their recovery. But, we aren't putting a specific time frame on anything.
Yeah. Obviously, you haven't had a practice yet, but how have you seen kind of the infusion of youth excite and motivate some of your veterans?
I thought it was awesome during OTAs. I think you've heard us talk pretty positively throughout the offseason. I think the irritation of the year before had a lot to do with that, but I also think the added in so many young guys who, when they came in, it's not just adding. Young guys don't add the right type of energy and everything if they're not the right type of guys. But what we saw throughout OTAs after the draft, those guys acted like pros. They worked, they were energetic, they communicated, they asked tons of questions, and I think that helped motivate some of the veterans, like, all right, we want to do this. We want to definitely fix what we did last year, but we know we can't do that with the help of all these young guys, new guys who came, and I think they showed us in OTAs that we're all very excited that they're going to give us a chance.
How much relief was there?
You may have to rely on a number of rookies, especially defensively, like you mentioned. How do you, measure their readiness and maybe give them some grace as they develop and get familiar with the system and get up to speed now?
I mean, the same way you always do. I mean, you go back to 19, we're coming off a 4-12 season as second pick in the draft, and that year we started. Debo was a rookie. We started. Nick Bosa was a rookie. Dre Greenlaw started. He was a rookie. I mean, you do the same way you've done it your whole career. You just there might be more than one at certain spots, which I think brings more light into it. But we've all been around enough to know that, yeah, there's some growing pains with rookies, but there's growing pains with everyone. It's easy to say it's because of a rookie, but with vets, there's up and downs. You do that with everyone. You got to understand, though, that rookies are going to struggle harder at first. They aren't going to figure it out right away. You can't just bench them as soon as they make a mistake early. That does take reps. No matter what you do, you need a lot of reps to get good at anything. And these guys are going to need those reps. They haven't had them. They don't get them in the offseason. They get them through playing football. And that's why you hope as they get those reps, they're not catastrophic, because we're all judged on wins and losses. But there's some ebb and flows in it, and if they're made of the right stuff, you can overcome those mistakes, and they eventually fix them.
That was beautiful. Guys, I am looking for growth. I am looking for growth from the GM. I'm looking for growth from the head coach. I'm looking for growth from the coordinators. I'm looking for growth from the players, right? And what you guys just heard was growth. You can't just bench them because they made a mistake. I'm going to tell you guys right now that I have seen Kyle Shanahan bench somebody because they made a mistake. And he talked about veterans. He talked about rookies. He's talking about the whole staff, right? You can't just bench them because they made a mistake. He is learning. I can tell you guys right now that he has benched players that I thought were starter worthy. I thought that they were the best at their position on the team. And Kyle has flat out benched these guys before. And hearing that right there, hearing Kyle say and admit that you can't just do it. These guys are only going to get better with reps. He is learning. Kyle went through this thing saying, oh, well, you're not good enough. Sit down then. That's how he started as a head coach. And the worst part of it was that he was doing it with offensive and defensive players, right? How many times did we say rookie wide receivers need to get more reps, right? How many times were we excited, like, oh, man, look at what Pettis did, man. Imagine if he had more reps in the beginning of this, right? We did that, right? Look at Brandon Aiyuk, man. He really came on at the end of his rookie season. Ricky Pearsall, he really came on at the end of his rookie season, right? These are things that we have said about multiple wide receivers in particular, but Kyle was also doing that on the defensive side of the ball. And now what you do is you have Kyle learn from his mistakes. That is growth. I talked about that tan. This guy is relaxed. He is confident. He's got a brand new mindset. Going into this season, man. I won't say brand new. He's got a tweaked mindset. He has worked on some things here. We won't just bench somebody because they had a bad outing or they had a bad rep. They had a bad day, a bad week, a bad stretch of games. They need more reps. We're not just going to bench them. And, I'm not going to say this is a brand new mindset, but I think he's going to emphasize it this year because I'm going to tell you guys right now, I can go back. I don't remember the year right now. But you guys remember that week 1 game against Pittsburgh? I believe it was against Pittsburgh. I think it was week 1. And we had the edge rusher. He's not with the team anymore. Or what's his name? He was injured. He had 3 sacks. And they kept working him in and gave him more and more and more reps. And he never got back to it. Drake Jackson. Never got back to it. But they ended up benching him eventually, right? Or he got re-injured, whatever. He was battling through injury and he got injured again and they finally took him out. But here was the difference, though. They kept giving him more reps. After that 3-sack game, everyone was like, oh, he's here. He made it. He's going to be great. And then he just kind of disappeared. And everyone started talking like, oh, man, they stopped giving him reps. Well, you know what happened? I went back and I looked at the snap counts. He actually got more snaps the next game. Then he got more snaps the game after that. And then one more game where he got more snaps than that first game. And then finally he was like, yeah, like, it's not cutting it. So I'm not going to say this is a brand new mindset from Kyle. This is a tweaked mindset. This is tweaked, and this is good. This is really, really good. So I liked hearing Kyle Shanahan say that. That's why I gave him the round of applause there. That's exactly what we need to see and hear from the head coach of this team, a guy with a phenomenal tan right now. All right, a phenomenal tan right now. Never mind. Let me shut up. Go ahead. Let's go, Kyle.
Closing it, and if they're made of the right stuff, you can overcome those mistakes, and they eventually fix them.
Line, was there some pressure to get Alfred Collins done so he could actually get on the field and start working?
I don't think there was pressure, Jennifer. That was a weird deal in that, like, the whole second round hadn't moved, and you can sit back and you can wait, or you can. And I just asked our guys, Brian Hampton, like, go call everyone in the league and let's get an estimation where this thing's going to break, and does it benefit us to be not first because some guys had signed, but does it? And
third.
At the end of that process, the recommendation from them was let's go ahead and get this thing going. And Alfred had worked really hard after not being able to participate in OTAs and getting himself in really good condition. He didn't want to lose, so he was extremely motivated. And I think I was really proud of our guys and his side, Nicole Lynn and Alfred, and coming together and kind of triggering the second round. And I think we ended up in a good place for everyone.
Are you committed to taking those lumps potentially and letting the young guys, the rookies, learn on the job early in the season, even if it costs you a game or two?
Yeah, but I mean, it's also, is there a better vet behind him? Like, you're going to play the best player, whether he's young or not. We're in a situation where we have a lot of opportunities for young guys to be our best players. We haven't had that in a while, probably since 19. And that's why there's more room for young players to make it here. And I think we got the right young players to do that. But in any situation, if someone's struggling, and we're going to put the best team out there possible, we have a chance for young guys to really earn that. But if there's someone better behind them, we're judged off wins and losses. You're going to do what it takes to win that game and then try to get a guy ready for the next week. But you're always going to put the best guys out there.
In the off-season program, where did you see Brock take maybe his biggest leap, and what do you expect from him training camp and getting ready for the regular season opener?
I want to applaud everybody that took place and participated in this Q&A section here. And I'm not talking about you, Faithful. I'm talking about the people, the press, the media that was able to ask these questions. We are 20 minutes and 28 seconds into a 21-minute presser, and this is the first question about the highest paid player on the 49ers and the most important position, quarterback, Brock Purdy. Man, wow. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal, right? Because that's low-hanging fruit. You give this guy more money. He's got a baby on the way, and he's got the contract, and he's a certified starter and all that, right? Like, they could have asked this question at any point. But the truth of the matter is, there's nothing really exciting about this question. I'm not mad at the question, by the way. I'm not mad. Like, what are you expecting from this? Cool. It's a good question. It's a solid question, right? Kyle Shanahan has never had a quarterback start for 4 seasons for him before. This is his first time having a quarterback go through 4 seasons with him and coming in as the starter. Go back and check. You can look at Kyle's entire track record. Didn't have it in Washington. It was RG3. It was Kirk Cousins. RG3, Kirk Cousins. You go to Atlanta. He was only there for 2. He was only there for two seasons, 2 or 3. You go to Houston. You go to Cleveland, all right? And he definitely never had 4 people here. He never had a guy for 4 years straight here. Not Jimmy, not Brian Hoyer, not Nick Mullins, not Trey Lance. None of them. None of them were 4 years straight. This is it right here. And they waited until the very end of this presser to ask this question. So I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. These guys really, really did a good job here. And so it's low-hanging fruit. What are you expecting? I mean, let's just see what the answer is.
For the next week, but you're always going to put the best guys out there.
In the off-season program, where did you see Brock take maybe his biggest leap, and what do you expect from him training camp and getting ready for the regular season opener?
I think Brock's played at a very high level since he's been here. Since his first game in to his last game, I think Brock's played on extremely high level. I think that's why he's earned that contract. I think the hardest thing with this league and the amount of money and the amount of coverage, when people get contracts, there's all this other expectation of now what do they have to do. And Brock needs to keep playing how he's always played. and continue to get better, like everyone does. Like, you get better or worse, you don't stay the same. So, like, Brock has had a hell of a short career so far. He had a hell of an offseason. And when you have a guy who is, to me, real in those ways, it hasn't been fake, the way he works, who he is as a man, what he's put on film, what we see every day, he will keep getting better. And that's what we saw throughout OTAs.
Do you have a question in the back? You were trying earlier. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. You're all good? Okay, all right. Good deal.
That's it right there, man. Round of applause for the press, for the media, for John and for Kyle. I personally think that they did a phenomenal job there. Even John going back and asking the person in the back, I don't know your name. I saw you trying to get a question in, but he said he was good. They let it go, man. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal, man. And I still have a little bit more time left, so I am going to do Kyle Shanahan breaking down the opening day of camp. All right, we will go ahead and go right into that. I'm not going to waste time or anything like that. Let's go ahead and bring Kyle in. I thought that was phenomenal, man. That was really, really good by them. Let me see if there are any questions in the chat that I missed here. Ronnie says, what's our plans for kicker? Competition, man. It's all going to be competition. So we just have to see what happens. I've got no expectations. Moody, no Moody, I don't care. I'm not gonna make a big deal of the kicker, but here's what I know. Here's what I do know. We need somebody that's going to come in here and kick over 80%. I'm not looking for a perfect kicker, guys. I'm not going to flip out if a kicker comes in here and he misses 2 out of 5 field goals in week 1 or something like that, or if he misses 2 out of 3 even. I'm not going to flip out, right? It's a long season. It takes a lot of adjustments. I don't care if you are Jake Moody. I don't care who it is. I really, really don't care who it is. I want who's ever going to give us the best opportunity, the best chance, all right? And then Big Daddy says here, what's up, Mike? This defense is going to be scary for other teams. I think so. We have the potential. We absolutely have the potential, but we got to see if they can handle the pressure. You know, we got to see how it all works out. You know, and yes, for those of you who tried to watch this presser live initially, no audio. So he says, shout out to the audio guys for making it where we can hear the questions too. The replay is always better than the live, always. All right, so and that's why when you guys see me do the breakdowns, I don't do the breakdown of the live one. I always do the breakdown of the edited one where they have the in-house microphones and they can they adjust the audio, they raise it up when they're asking the questions from the press, and they lower it and they focus on the coach or whoever it is that's at the podium at the time. So yeah, they did a good job there. So, and I know you spelled it wrong. There you go. There's your correction there. But that was phenomenal there. So good stuff there. All right, let's go ahead and get to Kyle now for what he thought of what happened today. All right, so that was what we just watched was yesterday. Kyle's going to break down what happened at camp today, and I'll go through it again. I have not seen this. I don't even think I've actually had an opportunity to read any clippings other than Cowing tweaking his hamstring, I think is the only news that I saw and heard from the pressers. So let's see what happens here.
Last year, Demarcus Robinson had a really good year against man-to-man coverage and in the red zone. He had a great day today. I thought, what did you think of Robinson and what can he contribute?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. You know, we hated going against him last year. You know, he's a big guy, plays tough, has good hands, and had a good OTAs for us, had a decent job today. And, you know, we'll see what happens with possible suspension in those first couple games, but he's a guy we know is going to help us out this year, and we're counting on him too.
I'm wondering how much growth you've seen in Isaac Garendo. Of course, he was out there with the first group a couple of times today. Just what did you see out of him coming back this time around compared to his rookie season, and how much do you expect that to show out there on the field this year?
Well, a lot of that, like mainly with running backs, O-line, D-line. It's kind of tough with OTAs just because of the way practices go. You don't get to truly evaluate as much from a football standpoint, just the way it is. But, you know, the injury came off that he got in week 17, the last game of the year at Arizona. The way he rehabbed that, the way he attacked that, he was here all offseason. I thought he had a great OTAs, and it's been one day, but he's put himself in a position to be better this year.
How will you use the new practice field? Will you rotate them?
It's a work in progress. Today was my first time out there with that field, so it was the first time it was different for me in 9 years, and So I felt like nauseous out there. I was dizzy the whole time. We're creatures of habit. I've stood in the same place all the time. I didn't know where to go today. But we'll get used to it. We could rotate it and stuff. The cool thing is it's the first time, we got a full 120-yard field and got our first field goal in there. That's not that's stationary. So a lot more room and stuff, which is nicer, but it's a work in progress. I'm trying to not change everything after one day, so we're going to give it 3 days and see what to do next.
On the kicking, in the past, you've had like one kicker kick one day and another kicker kick. It switched up. Was that totally a Boyer thing? And do you think it maybe adds to the competitive field to have them switching off kicks?
Yeah, I do.
There you go. All right. You guys asked what the plan for kicker was. There you go. They're switching off and on. So listen to the question again. This is where you're going to get the answers, right? So now people are out there. They're getting to see it themselves. They're watching themselves. Then they're coming back and asking the question. So it's even more important, right? They put together what they think they saw, and now you're going to ask the coach about it. So here you go. Here's your kicker question.
So we're going to give it 3 days and see what to do next.
On the kicking, in the past, you've had like one kicker kick one day and another kicker kick. It switched up. Was that totally a Boyer thing? And do you think it maybe adds to the competitive field to have them switching off kicks?
Yeah, I do. It all depends on the reps we give him and stuff, and Brand decides on that, how he wants to do it, so he can do it over the course of time. So it's not just always day to day. We can stack these up and see who has the better camp. But I think between the two of them, I think they missed one in OTAs. So they've both been kicking real well, and it should be a really good battle this camp.
So like what you saw.
Did you guys hear the most important part of that answer? Brant decides all of that. Not I went into Brant and I said I want to see this. We met and we decided. It was Brant decides all of that. I talked about how phenomenal Kyle's tan was because he is stress-free, right? He is stress-free. That answer right there lets you know he trusts his staff, guys. He trusts his staff. This is not something that he had before with the name I'm not going to say anymore because I don't have to say it anymore. All right, I'm going to call him the text man. All right, this isn't something that happened due to a text message. This was someone sought out, someone who they wanted here. All right, this is great. I absolutely love that answer. He said that's something that Brant decides. All right, the special teams coordinator himself decides that, not me. No input from me. All right, I'm going to play the question one more time, let you guys hear the answer. And he gets to the answer very early on into the question, too. So I don't want you to think that this is like a hidden jewel or gem or anything like that. It's just something that you guys should focus on because this was not the mindset in previous years.
3 days and see what to do next.
On the kicking, in the past, you've had like one kicker kick one day and another kicker kick. It switched up. Was that totally a Boyer thing? And do you think it maybe adds to the competitive field to have them switching off kicks?
Yeah, I do. It all depends on the reps we give him and stuff, and Brand decides on that, how he wants to do it, so he can do it over the course of time. So it's not just always day to day. We can stack these up and see who has the better camp. But I think between the two of them, I think they missed one in OTAs. So they've both been kicking real well, and it should be a really good battle this camp.
So like what you saw today?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
We know you anticipated Jauan to be out there on the field today, but just how important was that for you as a coach to have him on the field participating?
It's always, for anyone at the Niners, but definitely coaching-wise, you want everyone out there on the field, especially some of your better players. And Jauan's been a hell of a player for us here for a while, one of our leaders too, and he had a good practice, and it was great to have him out there.
I noticed you gave him a hug at the beginning of practice. Can you share what you told him?
What's up? How you doing? Do that with probably 25 other guys too. But yeah, just what I do.
What did you gauge from, I guess, his spirits? Because from our perspective, kind of seemed like he was in good spirits.
Nah. Not letting that go. Kyle Shanahan is a hugger. What'd you tell him? What's up? How you doing? How you feeling? I did that with 25 other guys too, because that's what I do with a smile on his face. This is a different Kyle Shanahan. Grant Cohn asked a question, and he didn't wince. He didn't get angry. He didn't get defensive, right? He wasn't snarky. This is a new season, man. This is a new feel. This team feels different, guys. It feels different to me already. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, right? Everyone's optimistic this time of year because everyone's tied for first. At the same time, everybody's tied for last as well, right? Right now, all 32 teams would be in the Super Bowl if the season ended today. Right now, all 32 teams would be picking first in the NFL draft if it started today. Right? Like, it's just, it's different, right? So I get it. There's plenty to be optimistic about because we just don't know. We haven't seen anything yet. But Kyle's demeanor, his attitude, his energy, his tan, it's different, man. It's different. He's not in those rooms that he shouldn't be in. He's not focusing in those rooms. I like this, man. I like this a lot.
One of our leaders, too, and he had a good practice, and it was great to have him out there.
Notice you gave him a hug at the beginning of practice. Can you share what you told him?
What's up? How you doing? Do that with probably 25 other guys, too. But, yeah, just what I do.
What did you gauge from, I guess, his spirits? Because from our perspective, kind of seemed like he was in good spirits, kind of dancing around. What did you gauge from just like his spirits, I guess, just the mood that he was in?
Seems like Jauan.
Attention drifted all to the defensive line and team drills where you want to see how Mykal Williams is doing, maybe next to Huff.
I mean, my attention drifts everywhere in practice. There's a lot of things, but that's why I put so much into film, so I don't feel like I got to see everything out there. And if you do, you might see it wrong. It goes so fast. So, that's stuff I really settle down when I get in my office and really can evaluate it with remote, fast forward, rewind. But guys you haven't seen yet next to each other, we're just as eager to see it as you guys, but we get better tape angles so I don't have to force it at that moment.
Does that happen often, that you see something on the field and then when you get in your film, it's something totally different than what you thought?
With most people, never with me. No, I'm just joking. It happens a lot. I mean, sometimes you can see it and you know exactly what it is, but sometimes there's a lot of times you think you saw it, and that's what I've learned over time. If you think you saw it and it's something that you feel aggressive with and you want to go correct it right, well, it's not good to correct something that you think you saw, get a player to totally do something different for the next hour and a half, and then you get in there and get a better angle and realize it wasn't exactly what you saw. So, you learn with that the hard way sometimes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the growth of Kyle Shanahan. Huh? This was a confession. This is a confession. I've gone to players in practice before because I thought they did something wrong. And so for the next hour and a half, because we're out there for 2 hours, 3 hours, right? 2.5 hours, they're doing something different because I told them that's what they needed to do. But you can't think you saw something. You can't halfway see something. You better know what it was because it turns out it wasn't their fault after all. This is growth, man. And this is going to lead to more confidence in the players, more trust in the players. So now when Kyle says something, they're not going to take it as, oh, this guy's picking on me. No, this is something he saw. He went and researched, so I got to take this to heart. I really did something that Kyle felt like he needed to bring to my attention directly and personally, right? This isn't Kyle overriding his position coaches. This is Kyle stepping back and relaxing. And let me look at the film, and then I'll address it with him going into the next practice. Don't make those corrections now because what I thought I saw may not be real. Man, this is great.
Right?
Absolutely phenomenal.
It's not good to correct something that you think you saw, get a player to totally do something different for the next hour and a half, and then you get in there and get a better angle and realize it wasn't exactly what you saw. So, you learn with that the hard way sometimes.
Kyle, D. Winters obviously made a play. He mentioned him as a guy among everyone, I guess, who needs to step up. But where specifically does he need to grow as a player?
Well, I just think this is his, he has his best opportunity right now, he had a decent one last year, but we were always hoping that Drake could come back. When D did make a ton of progress last year and he started to take over that job, and he had a number of setbacks with injuries, so it took him a while to do it. I thought he had a hell of an OTAs, showed that he was capable of doing this, and we just want to see him continually get better at it, be consistent. Hopefully he has good luck avoiding injuries, but D's a guy we believe can be a hell of a player. We're just hoping fully gets there.
Did you get a good look at what exactly he saw today on that interception?
On what's that?
D on his interception today, it looked like, was he sitting on that route? Did he identify something?
No, I think the quarterback just missed him. He was right in the zone, reading his eyes, and he got right under it. Quarterback should have turned it down, but got a little bit aggressive with it.
What have you learned so far or discovered about Mac Jones that you didn't when you brought him in?
I mean, Not a lot. I'm still learning about him, but I mean, I didn't know Mac before we brought him in. I mean, you got to talk to the guy a little bit in the draft process and stuff, but that was a COVID year, so we couldn't really meet with anybody. It was all Zoom, so it's been nice to have him in here throughout the whole offseason and get to know his personality and everything. From a player standpoint, a lot what we expected. We're really excited about him. Loved him coming out of college. We've liked him in the NFL, and I'm excited to have him here.
You had all your drafty defensive linemen on the field, Collins, I think, for the first time. Just do you notice the physical presence from that group, just having them out there together?
Yes. You know, I mean, we lost a lot of D linemen, and we had to add a lot of D linemen, and, you know, they all weren't out there in OTAs, so, you know, we knew they were in the building. But it was nice to get Michael and Alfred out there together. Obviously, their size jumps out, and, you know, they're still trying to get back into this and learn a lot. They got a long way to go, but excited we started it today and excited to go watch the tape on them.
What have you seen from Nick Bosa as he evolves as a leader in that group?
You can just tell Nick, you know, takes, you know, Nick is, you guys know Nick pretty well. You know, he doesn't vary out of his personality very much. But I do think he talks to those guys a lot more. Nick will never say anything just to say it in any situation, but he doesn't hold back as much. And I think he knows he can help guys. And when he sees spots that he can help guys with, he doesn't hesitate.
Well, Nick
And this goes back to what I said, the few things that I did see. Nick Bosa bouncing around and chest bumping some guys and all that. He just seemed to be more active, right? John Lynch said at the presser yesterday that we have, they asked him, what's the tone that you guys want to set for this team during camp? And he said, we have a core of players that are going to set that tone. And I ran down the name of all those players, all those core players that he was talking about, what he was referring to. And Nick Bosa was one of those people. He's one of those people. And I'm not saying this is going to be a bounce back year for Nick Bosa. It can't get much worse than what it was last year. But I'm not going to say this is going to be a bounce back year or anything like that. But what I did notice was a little bit of pep in his step, a little bit more energy. This wasn't about drills. I didn't see any of the drills. I'm talking about what I saw with him interacting with the rookies and Huff, some of those other defensive linemen, right? The bounce, you could hear the music in the background of the video I saw, and you see him trying to move to the rhythm of the music, right? Like this is a different type of Nick Bosa than what I've seen normally. And that's what Kyle Shanahan is kind of alluding to here, right? He doesn't waste words. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't waste time. He doesn't talk just for the sake of talking, right? We're not going to just ask him to go out there and give a rah-rah speech and he's going to do it. It's not Nick. It's not what he does. He says, you guys know Nick well. I think we've seen Nick, right? We know how calm he is. We know that laid-back demeanor and delivery. But there would just seem to be a little bit something different from what there just seemed to be a little bit something different than what I saw in day one. All right?
You guys know Nick pretty well. You know, he doesn't vary out of his personality very much. But I do think he talks to those guys a lot more. Nick will never say anything just to say it in any situation. But he doesn't hold back as much. And I think he knows he can help guys. And when he sees spots that he can help guys with, he doesn't hesitate.
Will Nick and Trent and Christian be on a schedule throughout training camp? I don't think they did any team stuff today.
Yeah, we have a number of guys, like guys with injury past, guys with age, guys who are growing stuff now, guys who aren't totally hurt, but there's certain things with their history or what their ages and stuff we have plans with. So they're all different, but a lot of those guys is coming off an off day. They just do individual. Sometimes we'll stagger them, but we got a whole mapped out thing that they update me on each day.
Kyle, what'd you think of Equimani St. Brown's first day in a 49er uniform?
I mean, it's good to have him out there. I'll see more when we watch the film, but I've always liked him, and it was a good first day for him.
How hard is it for a player to sign a deal one day and then be, you know, on the field the very next brand new situation? And it's got to be tough to acclimate so quickly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's why you hope there's some carryover from other places they've been, just terminology-wise. That's why you got a chance to a degree early on in camp, because most of the plays are scripted. So you're not just going out there and having to randomly know whatever comes out of our mouth. So it gives them a chance to memorize some things the night before so that they can at least get through it. But it's a huge challenge. Once you have a few guys miss a couple plays or take some off and you got to move a position, that's when they really kind of have no chance. And you can't get mad at them because they just get here a day before. But the urgency is there. They got to pick it up. They got to do it fast if they want a chance to make this team.
Coach, when it comes to Jauan Jennings, obviously you guys anticipated that he would be out there, but to have him out there, given, you know, the history of the past few years, Does that move the needle at all in the minds of the coaches with the kind of guy you have in Jauan Jennings and maybe wanting to give him what he wants because he wants to give you guys what you guys want?
Yeah, I don't think we know Jauan and Jauan knows us. I think the other way makes it harder. But I don't really compare things to other years and other people. People have plans. It's a business plan. It's usually a plan between a player and agent. And I see it happen all over the league. It's happened with us. And it's something that I try not to get too worked up about because there's not always much I can do about it. So I always try to recommend them to do what I think will help them the most. And I think Jauan's doing that.
Kyle, at what point in the 40 days away do you get the itch to be back on this podium and get going for real?
Never. I like to get back going.
I like that they were anticipating more. Like, oh, he's going to say something else. No. I don't want to. Kyle does not want to talk to the media. It's just part of the job. It's part of the gig. You know what I'm saying? It's not that he doesn't always want to, right? I'm sure there's times where he doesn't mind, but he's never like, oh, man, I can't wait to go and address the media. Like, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So, this is a looser Kyle Shanahan. I've seen more of his teeth than I've ever seen before in my entire life in just this one presser right here, right? Like, you can count more teeth in the smile, right? It's more sincere. Look at the energy. Look at the way he throws his head back, right? And then he stands up straight to answer the question after that.
You get the itch to be back on this podium and get going for real?
Never. I like to get back going, but you started with on this podium.
Is the first padded day scheduled to be Sunday or is it Monday?
It is, what's today? League rule, you need 4. Yeah. So we're going to have 3 off, I think. 3 practices. I think Sundays are off day. Then Monday's Saturday's off day. Sunday will be our 4th. Monday's first day of pads.
It seems that Jacob Cowing has a real opportunity this season. What do you need to see from him to have it improvement?
I thought Jake had one of the best OTAs out of anybody on our team in terms of most improved, the most prepared for it. Unfortunately, I think he pulled his hamstring and routes on air today before we started.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'd say to just keep on the trajectory. Hopefully he can stay healthy and keep going where he did in OTAs, but probably.
And this is where the outrage came from today online. You heard it. Unfortunately, he pulled a hamstring running on air today.
Out of anybody on our team in terms of most improved, the most prepared for it. Unfortunately, I think he pulled his hamstring and routes on air today before we started. So I'd say to just keep on his trajectory. Hopefully he can stay healthy and keep going where he did in OTAs, but probably had a little setback today. So hopefully that's better news than what we're guessing out there, and he can get back to what he's doing in OTAs.
What have you seen from Jason Pinnock and Jair Brown at the safety position and others?
Well, it's nice to get Tig back out there today with Jair. You know, he didn't get to do OTAs. I thought Pinnock had a real good OTAs. You know, it was our first time getting to know him and stuff, and got a lot of reps and stuff, especially with all those guys out. So it was cool to see Tig out there today with them, and excited to watch them work together on film.
Speaking of Tig, I owe you guys something here. Let me go full screen real quick, just so you guys can see me. Look me in my eyes here. I promised you guys a Tig interview this offseason before the team returned to camp, and it did not happen. I won't make excuses for it. The text seemed to be going good. Communication was good. But for unforeseen reasons, we weren't able to make that happen. Does that mean it's not going to happen in the future? Absolutely not. But I won't harp on it. I'm not going to sit here and bang the table and make excuses or anything like that. It did not happen. It was something that was definitely in the works and really, really close to happening, but we weren't able to make it happen this offseason the way we anticipated. Just stay tuned, and if it happens, it'll happen. Trust me, you guys will be here. I know you guys will be. So we'll see. But it was good. It was good to hear Shanahan say that he was back in the building and getting some reps out there. All right. Let me go ahead and get back to this.
Jair, you know, he didn't get to do OTAs. I thought Pinnock had a real good OTAs. You know, it was our first time getting to know him and stuff, and got a lot of reps and stuff, especially with all those guys out. So it was cool to see Tig out there today with them, and excited to watch them work together on film.
What is day one like for you?
It's a little frustrating. Like I hate practicing without pads. It just worries me. So I just want to follow these rules, get to the pads, so like it's a little safer with protection and stuff. You have a chance to block people. You can start, just getting more ready for football. It's hard day one. Everyone's ready to go, but it's still got to be patient. So I just try to stay as relaxed as possible to get in this groove, and usually we are by next week.
How do you think Upton Stout did in the spring?
I thought I did a real good job, especially for a rookie coming in, just throwing him into the nickel roll. He almost made a hell of a play today. I thought he had a pick six, just mistimed it and actually gave up the completion, but it was really good coverage. But I was real excited with him in OTAs, and he's one of the guys where I think he's got a chance to compete to help us throughout this training camp and into the season.
Now, that was a really good answer right there, right? Asked about Upton Stout, and he said, we threw him right into the nickel roll, and I thought he had a pick six, but he mistimed it. Really, really good coverage. Kyle said he even gave up the reception, right? Like it was what he thought was going to be a pick six. You're ready to celebrate, and he just mistimed it just a little bit and gave up a reception. But this is different, right? Like, this is I don't want to speak for Kyle's entire mindset in the past, but what I was able to take from this is that I know for a fact that if a player tries to jump a route, like Kyle's coach's mindset is, if you don't think you're going to make the play, if you're not going to be there, you don't go for the play. You secure the ball or force the incompletion. The picks will come. Don't try to force it. But Kyle actually praised the failed attempt. He actually praised the failed attempt. He said, I thought it was going to be a pick six. It wasn't. He actually gave up the catch, but I thought it was really, really good coverage. This is a different mindset. I'm going to continue to point these things out as I hear them. All right, we got about 6.5 minutes left in this interview here, but these are the kind of things that I really, really like to see and love to hear. I am so happy that football is back, man. Just come on, man. Sound the horns, man. Let's go. Like, football is back. It's meaningful stuff right now. And this is the stuff that's going to lead to the hype and anticipation of preseason. This is the stuff that makes us excited, right? Getting a chance to see these guys in live action and see just how good they actually are. So kudos to Kyle, answer these questions and giving praise on a failed attempt. I like that.
I thought I did a real good job, especially for a rookie coming in, just throwing him into the nickel roll. He almost made a hell of a play today. I thought he had a pick six, just mistimed it and actually gave up the completion, but it was really good coverage. But I was real excited with him in OTAs, and he's one of the guys where I think he's got a chance to compete to help us throughout this training camp and into the season.
During the spring, Lenore mentioned, he likes playing that nickel, but it'd be tough for him to move off of it. How much into account do you take? Does that matter a lot when you're trying to figure this out? Maybe he does want us to be inside when they go three receivers?
Yeah, we take all that into account. It's I do think it's hard on a guy to keep moving him. It's hard to play outside and inside and do that throughout the game. I do think Demo's really good at both. I personally think it's harder to avoid nickels than it is corners, so I like him in there in nickel. But we're definitely going to have him on the outside when we're in base, so it all kind of has to depend with how our top three are and where to put him in. We know Demo can play at a high level of both. If we can keep him at one, that usually is better for the player. But we got to have three guys who fill in those roles, and then you got guys who can back him up after.
How do you judge or, I guess, measure Brock's growth on a day like today, from day one to today? How do you measure it?
I don't. Day one, when he first got here today?
No, yeah, from his first day here to like today, the player he is today.
I mean, I wish I could give you a better answer, but it's too broad for me. The same with everybody. Like, you don't just sit here and evaluate their whole thing from year one to now. Like, you're writing a book to tell his whole career. It's everything's about being the best you can be. And so everything we have on is film, everything we do is work. When we practice and do stuff on air, we come in and review it. So it's just constant critique, evaluation, and trying to get better. That's why they need to get away from us sometimes. So I think it's important they get away from us for 40 days because now they're going to hear us for 7 months. And you need guys who can take that. And that's why I love Brock. He's got the ability, but he's also made of the right stuff. That he's always pushing himself, is never satisfied. And he's going to not just do what we ask him to do. He's going to do as much as he can to get better. And that's why I like when he proves on things when he's away from us. And I like when we come back together and I can get to see him. I always feel he's a little stronger when he comes back, just from his body standpoint, from his throwing standpoint. And then we just evaluate each day as it goes.
If you guys want an insight on what Kyle Shanahan's expectations are for this season, you just got it in that answer. I'm going to rewind it one more time and let you hear the answer, right? He was asked about how do you evaluate Brock from day one to who he is now? And he was saying you don't. Well, I got a broad answer, and he goes on and says a lot of stuff, right? But in the previous presser, it was asking about expectations and all that, and he didn't really want to give anything. But he does it here. He drops a little nugget in here. Kyle is telling you what he expects from this season, from this team, from this current roster. Now, the roster's living and breathing, and it changes. It changes damn near daily. But you guys got to pay attention. Kyle's going to tell you something. He's going to let something get out. And he just did it right here. I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to shut up, and then I'm going to pause it to see if you guys caught it. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it was. Listen to this.
I wish I could give you a better answer, but it's too broad for me. The same with everybody. You don't just sit here and evaluate their whole thing from year one to now. You're writing a book to tell his whole career. It's everything's about being the best you can be. And so everything we have on is film. Everything we do is work. When we're in practice and do stuff on air, we come in and review it. So it's just constant critique, evaluation, and trying to get better. That's why they need to get away from us sometimes. So I think it's important they get away from us for 40 days because now they're going to hear us for 7 months. And you need guys who can take that. And that's why I love Brock. He's got the ability, but he's also made of the right stuff. That he's always pushing himself, is never satisfied. And he's going to not just do what we ask him to do. He's going to do as much as he can to get better. And that's why I like when he proves on things when he's away from us. And I like when we come back together and I can get to see him. I always feel he's a little stronger when he comes back, just from his body standpoint, from his throwing standpoint. And then we just evaluate each day as it goes.
With Cowing's injury, do you need to sign another wide receiver?
You don't have to.
All right, guys. Now listen. Did you guys catch it? Kyle told you his expectations. He told you his expectations. Did you guys catch it? Anybody out there? Hello? Oh my God. Kyle is incredible. I love this guy. Did anybody catch it? Kyle said, all right, so this is all about expectations for the season, right? And if you listen to the previous segment and interview, he said we're depending on a lot of rookies, probably going to have 6 starting rookies and blah, 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 right? It's a lot. It's a lot. We got a new special teams coordinator in here, and Robert Sala's coming back, and we got all these players that we don't know, and the uncertainty at the wide receiver position, and we got a snap count for those veterans like Nick Bosa and Trent and CMC, and right, George. He's saying all these things. You don't know what to expect. There's going to be injuries and all, and he will never say what he actually expects. But he dropped a little nugget in here. Kyle Shanahan said it's important for them to get away from us for those 40 days so they don't have to hear from us, because they're going to hear from us for the next 7 months. 7 months from today, it's February 24th. That's 7 months from today. Oh, Mike, why is that important? Well, because if the season were to end and week 18 and the Niners don't make the postseason, that's January 3rd and 4th. That's not 7 months from today. Kyle's expectations. Oh, I'm getting chills. Oh, let's go, Kyle. Huh? Let's go, Kyle. Sound the fucking alarms, baby. Sound the alarms, baby. It's time to hunt. Huh? Kyle's expectations for this team is a Super Bowl this fucking season, ladies and gentlemen. He's telling you he plans on being there and talking to these guys through the month of February. Let me tell you, I was here last year. Shut up, applause. Let me tell you, I was here last year. And when week 18 ended, those exit interviews were just a couple days later. They didn't drag out into February. That season was over in January. It was donezo. That would be 6 months from today. That would be 6 months. This guy is locked and loaded, and you guys officially have head coach Kyle Shanahan's expectations for this 2025-2026 season. You guys, set your calendars. Request off. Put your vacation time in now, baby. Huh? He's got expectations. They're going to hear from us for the next 7 months. They needed those 40 days. They needed those 40 days. All right? That's why. That's why. They needed it. Come on, man. Let's go, Kyle. Let's get back to this pressure. I'm going to shut up.
He's going to not just do what we ask him to do. He's going to do as much as he can to get better. And that's why I like when he proves on things when he's away from us. And I like when we come back together and I can get to see him. You know, I always feel he's a little stronger when he comes back, just from his body standpoint, from his throwing standpoint. And then we just evaluate each day as it goes.
With Cowing's injury, do you need to sign another wide receiver?
I mean, you don't have to, but we always would like to. I mean, especially with some of the stuff I was telling you guys yesterday. So we got to look at the rest of the roster, but that's always what's tough when guys are on PUP, not just wideouts, but everybody, because you like to pretend it's a 90, but I think it's really like an 83 right now because they're PUP, and then when you get that, it goes to an 82. So you sign an extra receiver, what other position can we go short at? So that's stuff that we'll always be trying to figure out.
What do you appreciate most about Kittle's leadership style?
That he's there, always. I mean, Kittle is probably one of the most positive people I've ever been around, which I think can be really good. Sometimes I don't want him to be so positive when we're struggling, but I think it's a good balance with everything. That's who he is, and he's consistent with that. So I think guys look to that for him, but when it comes to leadership, the best thing is showing up and doing your job and doing it as good as you can every day in terms of playing when you don't feel right, preparing, knowing your assignments, getting your body right in every situation. And I think everyone on our team knows Kittle's going to do all those things. And to me, that's the best type of leadership you can show.
You give any dad advice to Christian?
What's that?
You give any dad advice to Christian, and did he look a little sleepier coming in today?
I just messed with him, asked him if he was going to change now that he's a dad, and he made it adamant he wouldn't. So we'll see. I'm sure he won't. He's a psycho.
You've seen this whole evolution in training camp from beginning from when you first got into coaching to now, where there's so much stress on recovery and less banging bodies. Is this better?
What's that?
Training camp in terms of getting a player ready to play, as opposed to when you first got in and there was more banging from the beginning and all the way through camp.
Yeah, I think that was one thing that was different. Like just the places I've been. Not all of them, but most of the places I've been, and the philosophy that I developed by the places I've been. You know, we never did tackle anywhere. It was always shorter practices. Like we didn't have to change any of our rules with time or anything when they started to do rules for time, because some people were practicing for 4 hours. We didn't have to change much with our pads and stuff. To me, where we've gotten so much better is understanding like the output that people put in, the distance that they run, knowing when to shorten the length of things, knowing what type of practice to script when they've had a day off. You know, back in the day, you think guys had a day off and they recovered, and so that would be the harder day. When you're recovered and you're coming in, that's when the most injuries happen. That's why we always have a low day right after a day off. Our second day is always a high day of reps. Our third day is a medium. We do 40 reps on a Wednesday and a Thursday during the season. We're trying to build them to be prepared for the season, but we won't do 40 reps until I believe it's our 12th practice versus Denver. And then we try to do that on our high day about 4 times, and we try to bring them back down so they can feel fresh again like they do right now, right before the season. But then they're ready to do 40 rep practices on a Wednesday and Thursday. So all that stuff to me is what we've gotten better at, just knowing how to do it. The rules and things, they've changed us in OTAs by not being able to fully practice football. But in terms of changing our practice, it hasn't much. We've kind of always been like that.
When it comes to Ricky out there, he was, especially towards the end of practice, he was getting some work in, and I don't think he was going full speed, but close to it, or maybe somewhere around in that ballpark. How encouraging is it to see that? And if you could kind of give an update on where is he in the process, being that he's on the PUP list, but he looks pretty active.
Ricky is someone that, I mean, if this was probably a few years ago, we would have practiced him today. I mean, when you hit your GPS speed, your max speed that you hit before you were hurt, when you can run all those routes, that's usually your protocol to go back. And he hit all that stuff over the weekend, which we felt good about, but we wanted to make sure his conditioning was right. So we're just doing that for 3 days, and if he can continue to hit all that stuff and his conditioning is good, I'd be surprised if he wasn't out there Sunday.
All right, guys.
Okay. So that's where they got it from. All right. So Kyle talked about the speed aspect with Ricky Pearsall yesterday, and that presser was broken down the first half of this episode. And so I stand corrected. He said that he had his max speed on GPS from prior to the injury. So he's just as fast today with the injury as he was on the first prior to injury. So that's where they got Ricky Pearsall hitting his max speed or tying it or equaling it. That's where they got it from with the very last question of the presser. Man, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to everything that we heard and learned from today. I think this is beneficial. I think we learned a lot. I think we have expectations for the season from the head coach. I don't think he would have said that if John Lynch was next to him. I don't think John Lynch would have wanted him to say that. I don't think John Lynch wanted him to say that now. But it is what it is, and we got it, man. The Niners are playoff bound, to say the least. And we know that once we get to the dance, we're the most dangerous team out there, y'all. I still stand by this. There is no team in the NFC that I fear. I'm looking around at the landscape of the league, and I don't give a damn about any of those teams in the NFC. Now, we got to take baby steps to get there, man. We're a long ways away from actual football. We're a long ways away from the bye week. We're even a longer ways away from playoff football and even longer from the Super Bowl. But, man, that doesn't mean that we don't have a lot to look forward to. That doesn't mean that it's going to be a short season, a fast season, or anything like that. Let's go ahead and take time to enjoy this, all right? I'll be back breaking some more pressers down, man. I'm going to be coming to you guys over on the Patreon page first. So make sure you guys head over to Patreon, okay? Patreon.com/NB9ERS. We'll do some of the player breakdowns over there first, and then we'll drop them maybe a day or two afterwards on the normal YouTube page. So for those of you who are not subscribed, you can catch them here. But make sure that you head on over to Patreon so you get them live, all right? You can get them with the uploads and all that over there. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. I want to give a shout out to everybody who stuck with me. I appreciate you all. This show is nothing without you guys. I'm going to give a round of applause to you guys, all right? I'm going to play the party horn for you guys. And I'm even going to sound the alarm for you guys, all right? You guys are fantastic. You guys are incredible. And I think that we have a really, really fun season coming up, guys. So I'm looking forward to doing it with you guys, all right? That's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will talk to y'all soon, man. Be back here, same place, same time, actually. Same place, same time tomorrow night with my guys, Zach and Matt from 49ers Hive. We're going to bring you guys into the joint show, all right? That's going to do it. Prepare for glory. Anticipate pain. But always remain faithful. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we Ooh, them nothing but Niners.
Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing